Stop everything you are doing now. What I will tell you will completely change your view of the most feared predator in the oceans. Do you think Megalodon was invincible? What did you swim alone at the top of the food chain? Wrong. Very wrong. There were creatures in the depths that made Megalodon himself shake. And today you will find out who they were. Imagine a shark the size of a school bus. Now imagine this monster running away. Yes, running away. Because something even more terrifying was approaching. This is the truth that no one tells you about Megalodon. For 20 million years, Megalodon dominated the seas. His jaws could crush a car like paper. His teeth, the size of a human hand, were perfect killing machines. But here is the secret. He was not alone at the top. Let's start with the most brutal of all, Leviathan melvillei. If you think the name is difficult to pronounce, wait until you find out what this creature was capable. A prehistoric sorted cachalot with teeth the size of wine bottles. Wine bottles. While Megalodon was about 18 meters, Leviathan reached the same 18 meters. But here is the crucial difference. Leviathan had a brain, a huge brain. And do you know what that means? Strategy, intelligence, group hunting. Think about it for a second. Megalodon was a lonely killing machine. The Leviathan, an organized gang of seas killers. When they met, it wasn't just a fight, it was a war. Scientists found evidence of epic battles, tooth marks on fossils that tell stories of unimaginable violence. Leviathan not only bit, he pulled out pieces. His bite was so powerful that he could pierce the skull of a whale in seconds. But wait, this is just the beginning. Because there was another enemy that Megalodon feared, and this one downstairs, the Basilosaurus. The name means king lizard. But make no mistake, this creature was not a dinosaur. It was much worse. A primitive whale with a serpent body and demon soul. 20 meters long, Basilosaurus was like an anaconda giant of the seas, flexible, fast, and absolutely relentless. While Megalodon depended on direct attacks, Basilosaurus was an ambush master. Imagine being swimming quietly when out of nowhere, a two-bus serpentiform creature comes from the depths, your sharp teeth like razors spinning your flesh even before you realize what is happening. Basilosaurus had an advantage that Megalodon could not overcome: agility. In shallow waters where Megalodon was slow and clumsy, Basilosaurus danced like a deadly serpent. But there was something even more disturbing about these creatures. They didn't just kill hunger. Fossils show evidence of unnecessary attacks, pure violence, as if the pleasure of killing were part of its nature. And then we have the mosasaurs, yes, those in the movie. But the reality was even more terrifying than Hollywood could imagine. With jaws that opened at impossible angles, they could swallow whole prey. The mosasaur was not just big, it was adaptable. He could hunt in deep, shallow, hot or cold waters. Wherever Megalodon was, the mosasaur could follow, and with his superior night vision, the darkness of his depth was his ally, not his enemy. Think of a crocodile. Now multiply for 10. Add fin, perfect vision, and the ability to hold your breath for hours. That was the mosasaur. A living nightmare that turned the ocean into its private playground. But here is a revelation that will explode your mind. Megalodon's greatest enemy was none of these giants. It was much smaller and much more deadly. Other sharks. Yes, you heard right. Smaller, faster, and smarter sharks were evolving, and they had a secret weapon: numbers. While Megalodon needed massive amounts of food to survive, these smaller sharks could adapt, eat less, hunt in group, survive where Megalodon would starve. And here is the plot twist that no one expected. Megalodon puppies were vulnerable, extremely vulnerable. For each adult Megalodon, dozens of puppies were devoured by these smaller predators. It was a vicious cycle of death. Now, if you are finding this fascinating and want to find out more obscure secrets of the prehistoric ocean, this is the perfect time to leave that like and subscribe to the channel, because what comes next will make you question everything you thought you knew about marine predators. Returning to our giant, Megalodon had another problem, a problem that no amount of teeth could solve. The weather was changing, the oceans cooling, and with that, his favorite fangs were migrating. But other predators, they adapted. The squalodon, for example. A prehistoric dolphin with shark teeth. Yes, you heard right. A dolphin with shark teeth. Nature sometimes seems to have a sense of black humor. Squalodon was smaller, more agile, and infinitely smarter than Megalodon. He used echolocalization to hunt in turbulent waters, where Megalodon was blinded. It was like comparing a war tank with a stealth fighter. And then there were the primitive orcas. The ancestors of modern orcas already showed signs of superior intelligence. They hunted in coordinated groups, using tactics that would make military generals envy. Imagine the scene. A lonely Megalodon surrounds a whale. Out of nowhere comes a group of primitive orcas. They do not attack directly. No, they torture, bite the fins, blind their eyes, transform the predator into prey. Is it brutal? Yes. Is it nature? Absolutely. But the real terror came from an unexpected place. Parasites. Prehistoric worms that were lodged in the gills of Megalodon, sucking your blood, weakening it slowly, transforming the king of the seas into a sick and vulnerable giant. These parasites were the size of snakes. Snakes. Imagine having dozens of them feeding on you inside. Each movement one agony, each hunt a torment. Megalodon didn't just die of hunger. He died being eaten alive inside. And there was more. Helicoprion, the shark with circular saw. Such a bizarre creature that scientists took decades to understand how it worked. His lower jaw was literally a revolving saw of teeth. When the Helicoprion attacked, it didn't bite. He sawed. Like a living chainsaw, he shattered his prey to seconds. Even Megalodon, with all his strength, could not defend himself against such a unique and devastating attack. But the final blow came from where no one expected. Changes in ocean currents have created dead zones. Areas without oxygen where nothing survived. Megalodon, with his massive metabolism, could not cross these zones. Other predators? They found alternative routes, adapted, evolved. Megalodon was stuck, isolated in smaller and smaller ocean pockets, like a king without kingdom. And then came the final competition, the ancestors of the great white shark. Smaller? Yes. More weak individually? Also. But they had something that Megalodon lost: versatility. They could hunt in cold waters, survive with less food, reproduce faster. While Megalodon needed perfect conditions, these sharks thrived in chaos. The irony is painful. Megalodon, the perfect predator, was defeated not by a stronger creature, but by many more adaptable. It's like seeing a heavyweight boxing champion being defeated by a bee swarm. But here is the darkest truth of all. Megalodon has not been extinguished by its enemies. It was extinct by its own perfection. It was so specialized, so adapted to a specific type of life that when the world changed, he could not change together. Your enemies? They evolved, adapted, survived. Some of them still swim in our oceans today, alive reminders of an era when even Megalodon had reason to be afraid. Megalodon teaches us a brutal lesson. In the game of survival, it is not the strongest that wins. It is the most adaptable. And in the end, the greatest predator of the oceans was defeated not by claws or teeth, but for the relentless march of evolution. The next time you look at the ocean, remember, down there, in the dark depths, the battle for survival continues. And the winners are not always who you expect. Megalodon is dead. Their enemies evolved. And the ocean never forgets.